My name is Zach Arnold. I'm a Hollywood film and television editor, a documentary director, father of two, an American Ninja Warrior in training, and the creator of Optimize Yourself. For over 10 years now, I have obsessively searched for every possible way to optimize my own creative and athletic performance, and now I'm here to shorten your learning curve. Whether you're a creative professional who edits, writes, or directs, you're an entrepreneur, or even if you're a weekend warrior, I strongly believe that you can be successful without sacrificing your health or your sanity in the process. You ready? Let's design the optimized version of you. Hello and welcome to the Optimize Yourself podcast. If you're a brand new optimizer, I welcome you and I sincerely hope that you enjoy today's conversation. If you are inspired to take action after listening today, why not tell a friend about this show and help spread the love? And if you're a longtime listener and Optimizer OG, welcome back. Whether you're brand new or you're a seasoned vet, if you have just 10 seconds today, it would mean the world to me if you clicked the subscribe button in your podcast app of choice. Because the more people that subscribe, the more that iTunes and the other platforms can recognize this show, and thus the more people that you and I can inspire to step outside their comfort zones to reach their greatest potential. And now on to today's show, which, to be honest, is going to be a bit of an experiment. As a longtime listener, you already know how much I love to do in-depth interviews on a variety of topics, whether that's allowing everyday people to share their personal and their inspirational journeys, or industry experts and world-renowned authors who share their expertise to help you optimize a specific area of your life. But today, what I want to do instead is give you an insider's glimpse into the world of my Optimizer coaching and mentorship program and what we call the hot seat. What you're going to hear today is a recording of an actual live session with an Optimizer student where on the hot seat, we tackle various questions, whether that's about career transitions, productivity, workflows, networking, burnout, habit formation, resumes and websites, and any other number of work-life challenges that students bring to the table as they navigate their own paths toward success. In the following hot seat session, community member Joshua Brecht is trying to improve his sleep habits and routines. He already understands the importance of getting good, high-quality sleep and how mastering this one healthy habit is going to improve every other aspect of his life. So in today's conversation, you're going to hear us talk about practical ways that he can improve his sleep and also learn about a few tech gadgets that can help him along the way. If you find these sessions valuable, we're going to be sharing Hot Seat Fridays with you every week that are going to be jam-packed with practical, real-world strategies that you can easily apply to your own lifestyle and career to send you off with an action plan for the next Monday ahead. And if after listening to this, you're wishing that you could schedule your own hot seat session, I invite you to join our community of optimizers, where you're going to find all the support and connections you need to optimize every aspect of your life. Just go to optimizeyourself.me/optimizer to learn more about the various coaching and mentorship options available so you and I can start working together today. All right, without further ado, here is today's Hot Seat Friday session with Joshua Brecht, made possible today by our amazing sponsors Evercast and ErgoDriven, who are going to be featured just a bit later in today's episode. And as a quick reminder, to subscribe so you don't miss the next interview just like this one, please visit optimizeyourself.me/podcast. What is today's Hot Seat topic?
Sleep.
Sleep.
I want to optimize my sleep. So yeah, that's the next step. I'm building a kind of like a mastery build of different categories, and one of them is sleep. And I want to make sure that I'm optimizing my sleep. So I have a Fitbit, and it kind of gives you a sleep score. And I can sleep 6 hours, I can sleep 8 hours, I can sleep 10 hours. But I'm always going to get like an 80, 82, because I know it really just focuses on your deep sleep. And something that I'm already doing is I don't use any electronics an hour before I sleep. I always read I have paper copies next to my bed, so I always read paper before I sleep. So that's the first thing that I do. I drink enough water. My nutrition, I believe, is great. Obviously, my exercise is great. I get up early. I get up really early, so by the time I go to bed, I'm usually pretty tired. So all those things are going really well. I do have some challenges where if I sleep with my arm like this, I'll actually wake up with pain in my joints. I've noticed that. I can't necessarily always sleep on my back, but I try to help that process. I do sleep on a foam mattress, so on one of those mattresses. So that's one thing that I do, and I have a really expensive foam pillow that's pretty comfortable. So I'm just trying to figure out. I take almond butter before I go to bed, so that helps to balance my blood sugar. So I'm doing all these things. I just need to know what I'm missing, and through your research and process, what have you found that can really help optimize this? Because I need to really maximize my day, and I also want to benefit my recovery time at night with more deep sleep time. There you go.
First of all, it sounds like you should be coaching me on sleep right now. Like, good Lord, I don't even know where to start. You and I love going down rabbit holes. So this is definitely one that I've looked into extensively, because sleep is my eternal one thing. If I don't get sleep in place, I'm just a train wreck. And for years, I didn't really understand what that was all about. But since doing genetic testing in the last few years, it just confirms that what ultimately happens during sleep, and I'm not going to go too deep into all the genetics and everything else, but in general, sleep is the detoxification process for your brain. The best analogy that I've ever heard is that basically sleep is like the dishwasher for your brain. Your brain is full of all these toxins, all the dirty dishes, all the crud, all the crap from the day. From the stress that you're living through, from the air that we're breathing, from the crap that we're eating, drinking, right? Even if you're as immaculate as you think you are in today's environment, unless you're living in the mountains, there are toxins coming into our body, and we're creating toxins through stress, even if it's good stress. So you exercising 6 days a week, especially doing Tony Horton level high intensity training, that's a tremendous amount of stress. I'm not saying it's bad, but it still is going to spike cortisol. And sleep is all about detoxifying your brain, and that's when your body recovers. What I discovered about myself is that I'm really, really bad at the detoxification and the rebuilding process. So all the genetic markers and genetic codes that just allow you to naturally detoxify and wake up rested, I have none of them. So I wake up, even if I've had 7 or 8 hours, if I don't take the proper steps, I feel like I got done with a 12-round prize fight. Every morning. It is so frustrating. That's just genetically the way that I'm wired. So I've had to find all of these countermeasures to get me to the point where I can wake up and even be functional at 8 a.m. on a coaching call. And Debbie will tell you there are sometimes I show up early on these calls and I'm not functional, and it takes me a while to warm up. But knowing all the things that you've already done, and knowing how much you just love to dive into the stuff and the data and just really getting into the nuance, this isn't something I would recommend to most people, because I would want to start more basic, but you're not at the basic level. You're at the, I want to really optimize every nuance, correct?
Yes.
I think the first place you need to start is a more clear awareness of the quality of your sleep. This is similar to the conversation that we had about diet and focus, remember? Where you're trying to figure out what do I need to eat? And I said the first level is you need to be more aware of the effects of food on your creativity and your focus. Because for you, it's not just, obviously you want to lose weight, you want to get trim, and you want to look good. But that wasn't the ultimate goal for you. The goal for you with nutrition was, how is it affecting my focus, my creativity, and my ability to just get things done, right?
Yeah.
And I think sleep is very similar for you. And I think the Fitbit is probably not doing it. The Fitbit sleep tracker, if you're somebody that's really not into this stuff at all, and you're like, oh, cool, my Fitbit says I did this last night. Like, that's great. You're beyond that. You've graduated to a deeper level. You need to get one of these. You need an Oura Ring.
A what? An Oura Ring?
I'm surprised you don't know about this. With all the stuff that you follow, I'm shocked that you don't know about this. You're not aware of the Oura Ring? All right, you need an Oura Ring. So this is essentially a medical grade heart rate monitor that I'm wearing to sleep. So it's doing all the things that a Fitbit does, but 10 times better. But it's also measuring your body temperature. It's measuring your respiratory rate. And it's also measuring your HRV. Are you familiar with heart rate variability?
Yes.
So I have an entire podcast on heart rate variability. And again, Debbie can send a link in the chat. I have no idea. It's an episode I did very early in the Fitness and Post days that I've since rebranded under Optimize. But heart rate variability, I'm just going to go into this for like 30 seconds because I don't want to go into the weeds. But your heart rate, if you think, let's use a simple number. Let's say that your heart beats 60 times per minute. The assumption is my heart is going to beat 1 time per second, but it doesn't. there's a variability in there. And the amount of variability gives you a better idea of how well you are recovered and how optimally you're functioning. So what's surprising to me is that just because I feel like everything is all about patterns and rhythms and consistency, I assumed the closer it was to being on the exact beat, the healthier you were. And it's the opposite. So the higher your variability between heartbeats, the healthier your heart is, and the healthier your brain is, and the more you've recovered. So the most important number for me when I wake up in the morning is, what is my HRV? If that number is low, it doesn't matter how much I want to just check off the X on a workout. I either go back to sleep or I do yoga or I take a walk, because I know that my body isn't ready to accept that level of stress. So you're going to have HRV, you're going to have body temperature. It's going to tell you about your body temperature fluctuations. It's going to tell you what is your resting heart rate. And that, again, is a very accurate measurement of how well you recovered and how well you slept. So an example would be, before the pandemic, at least one evening a week, late at night, which late at night for me is like 7, 8, 9 o'clock, I was doing a really intense parkour exercise. I would go to a parkour gym and bounce around the walls for 2 hours and swing on bars, just because from a scheduling perspective, that's all I could do. And because of that, I would wake up the next morning, and it gives you like paragraphs worth of information. It would say, it looks like you did really intense exercise last night later than you should have. Therefore, your resting heart rate was very late in the evening, and that is why you didn't get deep sleep. So right now, you're kind of sort of guessing. Well, Fitbit said I'm in the 70s or the 80s, so I guess I did all right. But the Oura Ring will say, we suspect that you had a heavy meal late into the evening, and that raised your body temperature and kept your heart rate up later into the evening. That's why you didn't get deep sleep until 4:30. So it's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty crazy accurate. So I think once you have that level of detail, it's going to help you dive deeper into the nuances of what is and what is not working. But intuitively, to you right now, what do you feel needs to be improved?
My recovery time, a couple things. My recovery time and my joint pain. So the way I feel in the morning is I'm just, I don't know what it is. And you talked about genetic testing, and I still got to dive into that. But I've always loved the mornings. I've always gotten up early. I'm very much a morning person. So I love getting in the morning. I love going to work out right away. That's kind of like my sweet spot. I love that. So I don't necessarily feel, my thing is the joint pain. So like making sure I'm sleeping correctly and making sure that I'm recovering. So those are my two. How do I wake up without any pain? And how do I make sure that I'm getting the recovery that I need? Because when I work out, I really smash my body.
So does it surprise you if when you work out, you really smash your body and you're doing it like 18 days a week, that you're waking up and you still have joint pain and you're sore and you don't feel like you're fully recovered? Is that shocking to you?
I don't know.
I know you. We all have access to the accountability channel. So we know how crazy you're going right now. We see it. So what I'm wondering
because of the session, by the way, because once we figure that out.
It's all my fault. I see. It's all my fault.
It's all your fault, because once you figured out that stats was my driving force, I am just like, I'm looking at every stat now. And same thing with the nutrition. Like the nutrition, I'm actually using myself as, we talked about a long time ago about the energy, like monitoring the energy. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, all right, I'm noticing right now, I'm writing it down and whatnot. And then I'm adjusting. And then the next day I do better. So I'm like, okay, well now I'm actually lasting till 3, now I'm lasting till 4. So just want to just throw that as a way, as a, that it is your fault.
Oh, I know. It's totally my fault. I'm aware of the horrible influence that I've had on you. My sincerest apologies for the interruption in the middle of this interview, but if you are a content creator or you work in the entertainment industry, not only is the following promo not an interruption, but listening has the potential to change your life, because collaborating with Evercast is that powerful. Here's a brief excerpt from a recent interview that I did with Evercast co-founders Brad Thomas and award-winning editor Roger Barton.
Living this lifestyle of a feature film editor has really had an impact on me. So I was really looking for something to push back against all of these lifestyle infringements that are imposed on us, both by schedules and expectations. When you guys demoed Evercast for me that first time, my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I have been waiting for a decade. me.
I also had the same reaction when I first saw Evercast. 2 words came to mind: game changer.
Our goal, honestly, is to become the Zoom for creatives, whatever it is you're streaming, whether it's editorial, visual effects, Pro Tools for music composition, live shot cameras. It's consistent audio and video, lip sync always stays in sync. Whether you're in a live session where you're getting that feedback immediately, or you can't get it immediately, so you record the session and you can share those clips with people on the production team where there's no room for any confusion. It's like, this is exactly what the director wants. This is exactly what the producer wants.
What matters most to me is it makes the entire process more efficient, which then translates to us as creatives who spend way too much time in front of computers. We get to shut it down and we get to go spend time with our friends and family.
The biggest complaint, and I'm sure you guys have heard this many, many times, this looks amazing, I just can't afford it.
Tesla had to release the Model S before they released the Model 3. So by the end of the year, we are going to be releasing a sub $200 version a month of Evercast for the freelancer and indie creatives. Anyone who is a professional video creator outside of Hollywood.
I think what we've learned over the last few months is that this technology can translate to better lives for all of us that give us more flexibility and control while still maintaining the creativity, the creative momentum, and the quality of work.
I cannot stress this enough. Evercast is changing the way that we collaborate. If you value your craft, your well-being, and spending quality time with the ones you love, Evercast now makes that possible for you and me. To listen to the full interview and learn about the amazing potential that Evercast has to change the way that you work and live, visit optimizeyourself.me/Evercast. Now back to today's interview. What I want you to think about, and boy, is this the pot calling the kettle black right now, and I'm sure that Debbie would agree. Right now, you are all yang energy, and I'm not getting a whole lot of yin from you. Do you know the difference between yin and yang?
I know the idea of it.
The idea of it, but can you identify what each of them is?
No.
So yang energy is high intensity. I'm doing Tony Horton today. I'm doing Tony Horton tomorrow. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's just like everything I've got, I'm going to crush it. Right? That's me in a nutshell. That's what I do. That's what I'm really, really good at. You can't have yang with no yin. Yin is meditation. Yin is slow walks. Yin is yoga. Yin is also, you know what? I don't think I should work out today. I think I should rest. That's really hard for people like us because we feel like failures. Well, I'm supposed to do this 6 days a week. That's what it says on the calendar. So I must be weak or broken, or there must be something wrong with me if I can't stick with this consistently. But as you become more attuned to what your body actually needs and you become more mindful of that, sometimes you realize I'm supposed to do the 60-minute workout today because the calendar told me to. Nope, I'm not doing it because my body says today's the day for rest. And emotionally, that's a difficult thing for people like us.
Yeah.
The reason that I come back to the Aura Ring is the Aura Ring is going to give you the data to verify your intuition.
Okay. That's what happened during the plank challenge. Was I was finding out as we getting further and further, I wanted to push myself, and I'm like, I can do anything. I can do anything. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But I noticed my body was not reacting well to it. Mm-hmm. And I noticed sometimes when I wake up, sometimes on a specific day, especially when I'm into a workout, I'll notice, especially back here. So I still have some challenges here with the foam roller has been helping, but I know as soon as this starts to get a little uncomfortable, not in a workout way, but like in a way that I might hurt myself, I'll know my body. I'm listening to my body much better now. But I like that. I like how that will help it kind of verify that. Now, how does it help verify that?
Because like I said, you're going to wake up in the morning and the first thing that you're going to see, hopefully it's not going to be Facebook. Hopefully it's going to be the Aura Ring. But I've just gotten into the habit that as soon as I have my phone, and I don't have my phone in my room, so it's like 20 or 30 minutes after I wake up, look at the phone, open up the Aura Ring app, and what I've gotten into the habit of doing is it's almost like a guessing game. So I know, like I'll wake up and I'm like, oh yeah, like my deep sleep was crap last night. Yup, my deep sleep was crap. Or I feel good. I think my readiness score is going to be high. Yep, I nailed it. So what I'm trying to do is start with my intuition, and then I let the data verify it. What I don't want to do is rely on the tech. So it's kind of a combination of thinking about it as being more mindful but at the same time, being a little bit more modern about connecting these two and saying, here's my intuition. This is what I think happened last night. This is how I think I feel. Does the tech back this up? Every once in a while, they're not in alignment. There have been some times I've woken up and I'm like, man, I feel good. I'm ready to crush it. And my readiness score is like a 50. It's like, you need to take it slow today. Usually I'll listen. Sometimes I won't. The flip side will happen where I'll say, oh God, I'm just so tired. I don't feel like it today. Your readiness score is 90. Crush it. And I'm like, fine. All right, I'll do the workout. And then I do and I feel amazing. So it helps kind of balance both. Don't rely on it, but use it as a way to enhance and augment your ability to be more mindful. But I think for you right now, it's number one, having a little bit more verifiable data, because I know you love data. Most people I wouldn't recommend this to, because number one, it's money. But number two, it's also kind of high maintenance and it's very overwhelming. But I know that you love the data and the data drives and motivates you. So I think it's going to be a really good fit for.
What do you mean by high maintenance?
For some people, just looking at the app and seeing all the different categories and numbers is like gibberish. So there's a learning curve. Like you actually have to dedicate time to learn what these things mean. But I mean, it's just, that's my hobby. I just love this stuff. So for me, there is no learning curve. If I gave somebody the Aura app, they'd be like, oh my God, I don't know what any of this is. It's totally overwhelming. I'm going to have to spend hours and hours learning how this works. Whereas Fitbit is made for the masses. Oh, good. I got my 80 score for my sleep. That's great for most people. It's not great for people like us. The other thing I would...
Is it water resistant too? That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've worn this thing in the shower many times. I've swam with it. Like it's not really water resistant. It's waterproof. I've never had an issue with it. The only problem I had is I think about 2 years into it, the battery started to drain really, really quickly. I sent them an email. I had a new one in like 3 days. Really good customer service. And by the way, probably not a shock, I have an entire podcast about this technology.
Yeah. I'm gonna listen to it right away. I already bought it.
Everybody's like, really? He's got a podcast. Shocker. I also, by the way, have an entire podcast about the process of genetic testing and DNA testing.
Yeah, I need.
So Debbie's just like, oh my God, slow down.
Got like 90 podcasts to listen to today.
Yes. So just listen to half my library, and that should cover today's session.
That should cover today's session.
Exactly.
All right, perfect.
So I would start there. The other thing that I would add very, very quickly is if specifically this is about recovery and joint pain, I would add a foam rolling or light stretching session right before bed. Because number one, it's going to help you get deeper sleep. And number two, it's going to relax your muscles so they feel better when you wake up. That's just standard for me. I'm on the foam roller and stretching at least 15 to 30 minutes before I go to bed every night.
Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I do the rest and recovery, the P90 rest and recovery, it almost seems like they're not really, like, I don't even think like Tony's kind of like bouncing off of what everybody else is doing. I didn't really find it as informative because
you're talking about the X2 rest and recovery, right?
Yeah.
That's way too intense for nighttime.
Yeah.
You need to shut the lights off, get on a yoga mat, roll on a foam roller, put it in a few trouble spots, do some really light stretches, like anything that's going to get you lying down and get you in an inversion. Like one of the things that I'll do if I'm exhausted, I'll just lay against the wall with my legs up against the wall for 5 minutes. That will knock you out. That is so relaxing. So inversions, shoulder stands, plow, twists, just really simple things to kind of wring out the tension. Usually what happens is I can't even make it 15 minutes into my session. I fall asleep on the mat, and then I'm like, oh, and then I don't even remember my head hitting the pillow. It's like magic.
And for nighttime, don't use the rumble roller, just use a regular roller, or do you still use the rumble?
It depends on what I need to dig into. I try not to just because that's more intense, but sometimes I will.
Okay. And then you had also mentioned, so we had talked about this before, so does any of the genetic testing assist with identifying any sleep issues?
Yes. Like I said, it identified a lot of the areas where I found out that without getting too deep into the science, but glutathione is one of the precursors that if you don't process glutathione properly, you don't detoxify at night. And all of the genetic, they're called SNPs. I can't remember the exact name, but it's in the podcast about the DNA testing. It basically says that I don't create enough glutathione to detoxify. So I just know genetically my sleep sucks. It just does. So it's not my imagination that I'm not a morning person. It's not my imagination that I feel like crap. Genetically, I don't detoxify the way that most other people do. So I have to get more sleep and I have to be more conscious of my sleep routine. But one of the best ways for me to get deeper sleep is to just relax and do the foam rolling and the really simple stuff before bed. So that in combination with the data you get from the Oura Ring, I think could be significant improvements for you.
So we have the Oura Ring podcast, there's the DNA testing podcast. There's one more that you had mentioned that I listened to.
Heart rate variability.
Heart rate variability. So I listened to that podcast.
So 21 is heart rate variability, and 56 is the Oura Ring.
And can you look up Dr. Ben Lynch? That's going to be the genetic testing one.
Ben Lynch. That talked about the fit test as well? Is that mentioned?
No, his is more going to be about the genetic testing to learn about all the things that we've talked about here and more.
Okay. So that'll help with...
So that's 42. Episode 42 is Ben Lynch.
42. 21, 42, 56. Okay.
So just get all that done by the end of the day. Preferably by lunch.
I already bought the Oura Ring. I got the Heritage.
You bought the Oura Ring during our call?
Yeah, made
That's
of
next level, dude. That is so next level. Oh my God. Nice. Before closing up today's show, I would love to ask for just a couple additional minutes of your time and attention to introduce you to one of my new favorite products created by my good friend Kit Perkins, who you may recognize as creator of the TopoMat. Here is a brief excerpt from a recent interview that I did with Ergo-Driven co-founder and CEO Kit Perkins, talking about his latest product, New Standard Whole Protein.
I'm into health and fitness generally, but I want it to be simple and straightforward. About a year and a half ago, I started adding collagen into my protein shakes. And man, the benefits were like more dramatic than any supplement I've ever seen. So I thought, if I could just get this down to coming out of one jar and it's ingredients that I know I can trust, and you just put it in water and you don't have to think about it.
When people think of protein powders, they think, well, I don't want to get big and bulky, and that's not what this is about. To me, this is about repair.
So a big part of what we're talking about here is you are what you eat. Your body's constantly repairing and rebuilding, and the only stuff it can use to repair and rebuild is what you've been eating. Unfortunately, as the years have gone by, every day getting out of bed, it's like, 2 or 3 creaks and pops in the first couple steps, and that I thought you just sort of live with now. But yeah, once starting the collagen daily or near daily, it's just gone. So for us, job 1A here was make sure it's high quality, and that's grass-fed, 100% pasture-raised cows. And then the second thing, if you're actually going to do it every day, it needs to be simple, it needs to taste good.
Well, my goal is that for anybody that is a creative professional like myself that's stuck in front of a computer, number one, they're doing it standing on a TopoMat. Number two, they've got a glass of New Standard Protein next to them so they can just fuel their body, fuel their brain. So you and I, my friend, one edit station at a time are going to change the world.
And even better for your listeners, with code OPTIMIZE, on either a one-time purchase or that first subscribe and save order, 50% off. So if you do that subscribe and save, that's 20% off and 50% off with code OPTIMIZE. That's a fantastic deal.
If you're looking for a simple and affordable way to stay energetic, focused, and alleviate the chronic aches and pains that come from living at your computer, I recommend New Standard Whole Protein because it's sourced from high-quality ingredients that I trust and it tastes great. To place your first order, visit optimizeyourself.me/newstandard and use the code OPTIMIZE for 50% off your first order. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Hot Seat Fridays. If you find this new format valuable, please reach out and let us know. Just go to optimizeyourself.me/contact to leave your honest feedback. And if after listening, you are wishing that you could schedule your own hot seat session, I invite you to join our community of optimizers, where you are going to find all of the support and connections you need to optimize every aspect of your life. Just go to optimizeyourself.me/optimizer to learn more about the various coaching and mentorship options available so you and I can start working together. And as a quick reminder to subscribe so you don't miss future interviews just like this one, please visit optimizeyourself.me/podcast. And a special thanks to our sponsors Evercast and Ergo-Driven for making today's interview possible. To learn more about how to collaborate remotely without missing a frame and to get your real-time demo of Evercast in action, visit optimizeyourself.me/Evercast. And to learn more about Ergo-Driven and their brand new product that I am super excited about, New Standard Whole Protein, visit optimizeyourself.me/newstandard. Thank you for listening. Stay safe, healthy, and sane, and be well.